Hello and welcome, everyone. My name is Naeva Flory, and I'm joined today by my council member, Dominique Jeffries. And it is our honor to represent the Million Mom Movement here as part of the larger community of our community action here with each and every one of you. So I just want to thank you all for taking some time out of your day to be here at the end of the month here in October for this presentation about tricks for treats, really learning more about healthier swaps for the spooky season and how we can transform the season and create some healthier habits. And before we hop into the presentation, we always like to set the tone for this call with our pledge and really what we're devoted to here as a community of creating healthier options for our own families and then rippling that out and sharing this with others. And so I'd love to see if anybody here would like to volunteer to read our pledge for us today. Just go ahead and raise your virtual hand and we will ask you to unmute. Do we have any volunteers? Wonderful. Martha, thanks for volunteering.
I pledge to defend the health of my family and myself and my family. I pledge to choose organic foods that are minimally processed and free of man-made ingredients. I pledge to read labels and educate myself on all aspects of clean living. I understand that my actions today will positively impact the health and environment of future generations. I am committed to sharing this movement of many. I am the Million Mom Movement.
Thank you so much. And would you like to share a little bit more about how this movement has inspired you?
Pardon me, I had to clear my throat. This movement has inspired me to really just get into the headspace of one, not being judgmental of where I came from, and two, to lead differently in my own family. And just to know that um, it can be fun, it can be beautiful, and it's a beautiful path to lead my family on, even if they're not stepping onto it at this moment. They can see me. They can see me and what I bring in the house and how much it's changed our situation.
Absolutely. And thank you for just being that beacon in your own household of making the choices for yourself and being that example for the others around us. We know that we lead by example, right? So the more we can do and show up for ourselves in that way, the more we can encourage others. Thank you so much for sharing that. So today we're really sharing about the toxic effects of all the craziness that we're bombarded with at this time of the year. When I go to the grocery stores, actually for the past month, there has been lots of different candies on the shelf readily available for Halloween. And the scariest thing about Halloween, honestly, is those candies and the toxic ingredients that are in them, all the preservatives and the high amounts of sugar and all the different things. And the reason why is because sugar has a really scary effect on our children, especially on their brains. Sugar can cause a lot of issues as well as like mood swings. It can cause other cravings. It can just really put us out of sorts and take us out of our element when we're having an overload of sugar. And so we really want to share today what we can do to help avoid those sugar crashes. We all know that we're going to have a little bit of sugar and candy over the next few days and over the next week. But we really want to help support our bodies to have a better outcome and to support our bodies to really be able to function optimally, even when we're flooding our bodies with not the optimal ingredients. And Dominique, did you want to share anything else on that?
Yes, thank you. One, I just wanted to come back to what Martha shared, as far as like making things fun for her family and sharing that, this health journey and this transformation that's happening for our families doesn't have to feel so overwhelming, but can be fun, can be light. And that's exactly what we want to share today. And like you mentioned, Naiva, not being hard on ourselves if we happen to have some sugar over the weekend that's not the cleanest or whatever, is happening, whatever events you're going to, but to know that you have solutions, that it's more about this long-term lifestyle change that we offer here with Purium, with the superfoods. So I love that you mentioned just how powerful sugar can be on our bodies, and especially children. I think we looked into it, and it said the average child eats 3 cups of sugar in one Halloween night. And of course, Halloween starts tomorrow on a Friday, so usually there's a lot of events over the weekend, and that just might ripple into not just Friday but Saturday and Sunday, and I'm sure maybe there have even been Halloween parties throughout this week. So being mindful of that, and knowing that we can, add in some less processed foods and things like that to kind of balance out and help support our bodies in detoxifying, that sugar. So we want to think about, as we're kind of tricking ourselves into redefining what treats are, we want to really shift from process to pleasure. So if treats were made from real wholesome ingredients, right, that were actually full of flavor, color, and nutrition, then we can really support our bodies in finding balance. So we want to share just, some fun, creative, and connecting ways that you can introduce your family to over the weekend, where it's not just candy, but also integrating them into the kitchen too, and making it a full family experience, so that you can, really swap the junk for joy. I would say losing without, feeling like you're having to lose this Halloween celebration if that's what you, decide to do with your family. So first, we want to look into, obviously organic is what we share here with Purium, regeneratively grown superfoods that are free from chemicals, dyes, heavy metals, things like that. And Naive, if you want to go ahead and pull up, we have our Sad to Rad op, resource that we're going to share with you guys, that we'll share at the end of the call, also how you can get all of these, at your fingertips and share over the weekend. But really being able to pull up some of our superfoods and help you move from the standard American diet to more of a regeneratively grown swaps. So let me see if you've got that pulled up. Yeah, so you've got the Trick or Treat Sad to Rat Halloween edition. We've got a lot of different superfoods in here that can help you swap them out for some of the candies or maybe treats that you might be having over the weekend. If you just want to kind of slide through that, we can show some of the things. We also have some more education around why a lot of these ingredients are scary. And you can also share this with your kids, right? Involve your family into them so that they can learn exactly what the ingredients are and how they can affect their bodies and their minds, etc., and their moods. But towards the end of that document, I know we have some supportive resources for you to incorporate superfoods. Yeah, so you got the food colorings, a lot of QR codes that you can scan. And like I said, stay on till the end of the call. We'll be able to pull up how you can get access to this document and share it over the weekend. But Naiva, do you want to get into the specific products that we can help people add in with Purium to share over the weekend to kind of balance out the detoxification process if they are eating more, sugary foods over the weekend?
Absolutely. Yeah, we have lots of different superfoods, but first I just wanted to share a little bit more of, what we have access to here with the different tools that we have for you, because we really want to just set you up for success with all the tools that we have to share with your community. And so if you're sharing candy or sharing different resources with your community tomorrow, whether you're going around the neighborhood or having people from around the neighborhood come to you, we have created this healthy Halloween guide for families to really just help you navigate Halloween yourself. But also, you can print this out and hand it out. to the different households, or if people are coming to your household, you can hand it out with the candy to each one of the parents to just give them some healthier options and really ripple this message out into our community. And so, as much as we want to support each and every one of you, we really want to support you in being able to ripple this information out into your community with this Healthy Halloween guide. And within this guide, we're helping you to just navigate setting a candy limit, some switch witch ideas. So maybe you want to switch some of the toxic candies out. You could have the kids do a fun activity where they're looking for certain ingredients on the packaging that you're trying to avoid, and they put all of those in a basket, and maybe every candy is worth a certain amount, and they switch it out for a monetary value or a toy or something else that they like, which can be a really great way to put value on it and also make it fun. So there's lots of different ideas here, have fun with it. Share this with your community, because we really made these resources for you to have so that you could share it with your community and just have access to more things to really support you. So there's also, is it a trick or a treat? It talks a little bit about the sugars and how fruit is so much better. How can we transition to providing more fruits and healthy sugars for our kids during this time? So think about, if you're having a Halloween party. I know Jared had a really fun activity or a little Halloween party that he did where he had some fun dipsticks with fruits. So he cut up, different fruits so that they were in a fun finger food fashion. And then he had some of the different juice bar in a bag assortments or cocoa hydrate assortments in little plates that they could just dip their fruits in there as a fun treat. And then there was also lots of other creative ways, as we always see. I know social media provides us lots of fun little reels about different things that you could make with fruits and vegetables, different party platters or different things to just make it fun and festive and also healthy. So Dominique, do you want to share more on that?
Yeah, no, I remember seeing Jared's video. I know we posted that on our Instagram page also, but I love the fun dip idea. I think that's really creative, and also they taste good. I don't know, how many of you on the call have tried our powders just as a powder and not, when you add it to a liquid or water smoothie, but they taste amazing. I know usually when I drop little pieces of the power shake on my counter, I'm always like picking it up with my finger and licking it because it tastes so good. So to have it as like a fun dip, whether you have the cocoa hydrate, the power shake, I think he also had Can't Beat This and the carrot juice plus superfoods as, little fun dips, and then dipping, candy and excuse me, not candy, dipping, little fruits and things into them to kind of give this idea of the sugar candy fun dip was really creative. And just sticking to that too, I know you had mentioned other fruits and vegetables. We have a couple of other ideas that are really fun that you can be crafty in the kitchen with your family, but there's one idea that's called monster apples, where you can take some apple slices with almond butter and, some sunflower seeds and kind of almost make them look like the teeth of the monster. And you could do it, with green apples or red apples, and that makes it really fun for the kids. Witch's brew smoothie, having the power shake with frozen banana and coconut milk, something you can give to the kids right before they go trick or treating, and then even something, that they can definitely have when they get back or even in the morning. Apothecary gummy brains was a really cool idea where you can take like Jello, brain Jello, and kind of basically add the apothecary to make it more of like a fun night treat, but also supporting the children and being able to get more antioxidants in, get that deep restful sleep if they are staying up a little bit later over the weekend because of the Halloween festivities. It just kind of, really supports their immune system from any artificial sugars that they might eat over the weekend or that night, and being able to detoxify while their body's at rest. And then there's another idea of the green goblin balls, having our chlorella into, an energy bite and basically rolled into like coconut shreds. And I know in our recipe books, we have a lot of little energy balls and protein, bites that you can make. And then just adding the chlorella in it kind of gives it that green Halloween theme. but also taste really good too. So just making, being creative, finding ways to turn the snacks into, healthier alternatives, and then using what we have, our superfoods, as a resource to weave it in. And it also just shows the kids, especially if you um, do it with them in the kitchen and you help them involve them into making a lot of these recipes. They get to touch it, they get to smell it, taste it, feel it, and it makes them even more excited to eat it when you're giving them out at Halloween, or if you're having a party. They feel involved into it. It takes kind of that idea away from it being so healthy as to like a fun treat to do together. Naiva, do you have any other swaps that you want to share too that some parents can add in?
Absolutely. So there's so many different ways, just like Dominique shared. It's really looking at recipes of what do our children love to eat, what are the snacks that they're looking for, and then finding a recipe that correlates with how we can make that healthier. And so throughout the years, we've put together recipes for different fun treats, that we like the Snickers or like the different candy bars, and recreating that with a healthier fashion and using our superfoods as well to just enhance the nutrition that's within them. And so being able to have some of these on hands, maybe there's some of the healthy swaps that you have as the Switch Witch to swap out some of the unhealthy candies for a healthier option. Like Dominique mentioned, there's so many of the protein bites that you can make or different treats that you can make throughout our recipe books that can really help support you in being creative in the kitchen and finding some fun recipes that you can make. And then, of course, like everyone has said here, like incorporating your kids and your family in creating those recipes makes it extra fun, because when they participate in the making of it, then it just encourages them to want to try it as an alternative instead of pushing back and really wanting the more sugary treats. And well, we're talking about sugary treats, and the reasons why we're trying to avoid the more sugar is because we know that it has all kinds of effects on our body. It lowers our immune system, which a lot of times this time of the year we're calling it flu season. Well, really, it's a season where we're eating a lot of sugar. Think about it. We're going through Halloween and then Thanksgiving and then Christmas. And for everybody that celebrates all of these holidays, we're eating a whole lot of sugar at every single one of these holidays with all of the candies and then the pies and the cookies and the cakes and all of the things. And so it's really a time where our immune system's being lowered because of the amount of sugar that we're putting in it. It can also be an energy roller coaster, right? We can also be having, it's winter time, so it might be getting colder. So if you're having those energy crashes, it could also turn into, an emotional depression because you're having those highs from the sugar and then crashing and having those lows. And so it's really important that we try to avoid that. And having enough protein can really help your body as well. So making sure that your kids have a protein dense shake or something high in protein before going out on Halloween can really be helpful to just set them up for success in the long run of not having as severe of a crash after eating some sugar. And then we also know it can disrupt our sleep patterns. And like Dominique mentioned, staying up late, it's going to be the weekend. We're eating lots of sugar. We're having a lot of fun. And so think about it. It's not only in the candy that we're eating, it's in the cereals for breakfast. It's in the drinks that we're exposed to. It's in, so many of the snacks, the yogurts, the different things that our kids are consuming. And so we're not only just trying to avoid the sugar and candy, but also in the other foods that we're providing for our families on a daily basis. And so with all of these things and our immune system, it really all goes back to our gut and our gut health, right? So supporting our gut and giving our gut everything it needs. And so really that brings us to like the Epigenius family, which is a kid's chocolate protein shake, and it has everything you need to help support their gut health, help support them getting protein fruits and vegetables every day. And then we have lots of recipes that you can incorporate that protein powder into to make it fun and festive. And that way, they're getting all the nutrients they need, but they're also having it in a fun, sweet treat kind of a way. And so there's so many ways that you can use that. But going back to some of the swaps, one of the ones that I've made year and year again that we just love is date cockroaches. So you just take a date and you cut it in half, and you can use either walnuts or pecans to stuff in the empty half of the date. and it makes really cute little cockroaches. And if you want to take it a step further, you could dip them in chocolate. But they're really good. They're sweet, they're crunchy. It really satisfies your sweet, crunchy, cravings, and it's good for you. It has a ton of minerals and vitamins in it, as well as a ton of sugar, but it's healthier sugar from the dates as opposed to refined processed sugar. So our body actually knows how to turn that into energy instead of having us have a sugar crash. So that can be really supportive. And there's lots of other fun things we can do. I recently had the bottom of my can't beat this, which got a little bit clumpy. And so I just added water into the bottom. I still have can't beat this containers from back in the day when we had plastic containers. So I still empty my biodegradable pouches into the plastic container. And so it had gotten a little clumpy. I added some water and kind of made a thick paste. And what I realized is that thick paste is the perfect fake blood. So if you are looking to be a vampire or a monster or anything ghoulish, that could be a really fun way to have a healthier alternative to the fake blood that's out there. You just make a thick paste with the can't beat this. It would probably work with the bio fruit as well. And while we're talking about ghoulish treats, we all know the Power Shake is a beautiful color green. And with the Can't Beat This being a beautiful dark red, you can not mix the two together, but layer them in some type of a smoothie to make, something creepy that's green and red, however you want to call it, whether it's, some ghoulish drink. But it could be a tasty treat that also goes along with the theme of the holiday of being scary and spooky and all of the things. It could be the witch's potion. So there's lots of fun ways you can use the superfoods, incorporate them in. If you can fit some spirulina in to any of the treats that you're making, it's super high protein. It helps boost your immune system and your children's immune system. It's actually nature's multivitamin. So spirulina is always my number one go-to for boosting our immune system, as well as having a high grade pure protein because it's high in protein. It has a lot of your essential vitamins and healthy fats. So it's really a great whole food and superfood that we can incorporate into so many recipes. So that can go into some of those protein bites. It could get mixed into a smoothie or other recipes pretty easily. Of course, it has a strong flavor, so be careful how much you put in it because it can, alter the flavor of what you're making, but you can play with it and make it fun and festive. And my favorite one of the spirulina options is the cocoa mint spirulina. So if you're looking for a sweet treat that also packs a punch with, how much nutrients is in it, that's definitely a good one to go to, especially as we're going into the holidays as well. So those are some of the top things that come to mind when it comes to this, but we have so many recipe books that you can look into to find more fun recipes and to just dive in and have fun with them, alter them, make them to your liking. Just really dive in and have fun with them because they're just a template of a recipe. And then a lot of times I don't follow it exactly. I might mix some of the ingredients slightly different on different times, different occasions. So I hope this helps. Dominique, I'll go ahead and pass it back to you.
Yeah, no, I always love when you share the cockroaches, the day cockroaches. I think that's hilarious. And also, just swapping that instead of Snickers or, any other chocolate candy that kids love, they can have that as an alternative option, but also know that they can eat more of it than, just a few things of Snickers like they usually do. Like I remember when I was growing up, my mom had a limit to how much I could eat. But when it comes to, sharing these swaps, it's like, oh yeah, have as many dates as you want. And the good thing about natural sugar and fruit is that your body will intuitively start to tell you when it's, satisfied, when it's satiated. You don't usually overeat on, sugar, even though I know I can overeat on watermelon because it's so good and so hydrating. But that's the best part about what we're sharing, when it comes to a lot of the processed candy and artificial sugar, you kind of your body doesn't recognize it as food. So as children or even just us as adults, we continue to eat it and eat it until our stomach hurts or, until we just don't feel our best. But when it comes to, whole foods and plant foods, our body intuitively knows when we've gotten all the nutrients that, it can need. Another thing I was thinking about too, as adults, and if you are, taking your children to Halloween parties, or maybe you're out at night and you like to have like a warm, drink with you, or maybe you're doing something in the mornings and maybe you are, relying on coffee or eating a lot, or excuse me, drinking a lot of lattes out, you can really swap that for some of our superfoods, even making like a superfood cacao with our MVP chocolate or even the Epigenius. It's just like a warm latte. You could do it with a plant-based milk, add some cinnamon and nutmeg, and it's so comforting. I lately have actually been drinking my Power Shake warm, and I love it. It tastes so good, and it's just really, cozy, especially when we're going into, the cooler season. And the last thing I was going to mention, I just thought of too, is that I know that daylight savings is happening this weekend, and on top of just, children maybe staying up later around this time of the, year because of Halloween. And then maybe, trick-or-treating and things like that, eating maybe more processed sugar, foods that aren't the healthiest for them around this time. And on top of that, having the time change, it can be a lot for their bodies, their immune system, their circadian rhythm to get back into balance. So using these superfoods, a lot of the ones that we mentioned, to just help their bodies get back into rhythm with nature, especially, having apothecary at night to help their circadian rhythm balance and get that deep regenerative restful sleep that they need to not only detoxify a lot of the processed sugars, but to make sure that they feel their best every day of the week, not just when they're going to school, but even over the weekend dealing with this time change. So those are a couple of things that came to mind for me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. There's so much that we can share, and we've shared on this topic in the past before too. And so we would love to also open it up if any of you here have any swaps that you'd like to share or a fun, healthy recipe. We would love to just unmute you, invite you to come and share some of the things that you feel like would support us through this holiday of just creating healthier habits, being able to share some fun tips and tricks with other parents or grandparents or caregivers, because we don't know what we don't know, and so all we can do is share something that we've learned, whether it's a fun recipe that you have or a fun Halloween idea that you'd like to share. We'd love to invite you on. Just go ahead and raise your virtual hand, and if anybody has a share, we'd love to just have you come on and share a little bit about what you do for Halloween.
I was just going to read in the chat before anyone wants to share, but Brooke said that Bahiri, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, dates are literal caramel candies. She said it's insane how good they are. It really does. They do taste like candy, or caramel, I would say too. So that's a really good idea for parents to add in over the weekend. But yeah, does anyone have anything they'd like to share?
Well, I know we're coming up on the end of the month and we all have a lot that we're trying to wrap up, as well as a holiday tomorrow that we're trying to get ready for. So, we do have a ton of resources for you. We want to share with you, just to help you encourage your community to create healthier habits, healthier choices. This is really how we're rippling out this message into our community and helping more people align with who we are here as the community arm of what Curium offers. And so we'd love to just invite you, if this is your first Zoom here with the Million Mom Movement and our community action, please reach back out to the person who invited you here. They invited you because they thought you'd find a lot of value and love our community. And we'd love to just have you come back on our future presentations. So you can see here what our future schedule is. We also have a Facebook page and a Facebook group, as well as an Instagram page. You can tag us on your posts and stories. We can feature you there. And then, of course, last but not least, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel where all of our replays are posted. And so we have done similar presentations in the past. You can go on the YouTube channel and type in Million Mom Movement and Halloween as a keyword, and other presentations around this subject will pop up if you're needing some additional resources. So please use that as a resource. Also, if you scan this QR code here at the bottom of our page, it will actually take you to the link tree, which is also located on our Instagram, link in bio. But they will take you straight to our link tree where all of the resources we shared today and many more are located. So please go ahead and scan that code before we close out our call. And we look forward to having you back next week for our presentation. It's going to be the first Thursday of November. It's going to be postpartum presentation really about rebuilding the body, collagen, and connective tissue. So if you know anybody that's in that phase of life of being postpartum or maybe newly going to have a baby very soon and wants to start learning more about the postpartum journey, this would be a great presentation to invite them to. So please go ahead and invite them to those presentations. The link to register is in that QR code. So go ahead and scan that, go register for our future calls. If you or anybody you know wants to come and be a guest on one of our calls and share a story, a testimonial, or something that you feel like would inspire our community, please do reach out to us. We'd love to have you come and share your passion with our community here on this call. So thank you all so much again for being here. Have a beautiful weekend, and we'll see you next week.